Hello everybody, ScotsThinker here, and welcome to the review of the 1971 animated adaptation of A Christmas Carol. Going into this adaptation, my expectations were through the roof. I mean, as established earlier, this project was directed by Richard Williams, the master animator himself, and it was produced by the legendary Chuck Jones himself. And it had the legendary Alastair Sim reprising his role as Scrooge. That's right, arguably and debatably the best actor to play as Scrooge reprised his role for this animated feature. Neat, huh? So right from the get-go, you know this is in the hands of the right people who handled the source material respectively. So did it meet my expectations? Visually, it did. And in other aspects, I think there's a bit of missing potential, but still worth a good watch. Some of you are probably thinking, what's wrong with this adaptation? Well, I'll tell you my problem. My main problem with this adaptation is its pacing. I feel it's way too fast. They just skim through all sorts of scenes, and we never really get enough time to really soak it in. They do tell the story, but it's like we were visiting a Christmas Carol illustration museum, and the tour guide was like, alright, here is this part, alright, here is this part, here is this part, alright, quick, this goes, now we mean that goes, now we go to this place, and that place, oh no, now that goes to the mirror, and there's this person, and there's this person, and we never see him again, this person, and Scrooge is laughing hysterically, and now we go to this one, and Scrooge is laughing hysterically, the end! And I get it, this is a television special, and it's restricted to half an hour. But it can be done right. If you want to see an animated feature that tells the story of A Christmas Carol within half an hour, and yet still maintains good pacing and tells the story well, then just watch the Mickey Mouse version of A Christmas Carol. Also, for how much detail they put into the story, there's a few bits of the story that they forget to leave out. Forget to leave out? No. That they left out. Like, we know what happens to Tiny Tim, but after the scene that we first meet him with the Ghost of Christmas Present, we never see Tiny Tim for the rest of the movie. It just ends with Scrooge laughing merrily. I mean, we get it. Scrooge has had his redemption arc and he's changed, but we need to see this change be put into actions. Although at least this song did... goofed up again. At least this short reminded me of a classic hymn. God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Saviour was born on Christmas Day to save us all from Satan's power when we'd all gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. Prepare to have that song stuck in your head. Oh, the memory's coming back from when I played as Scrooge for a theatrical production. Yeah, about 2 or 3 years ago I played Scrooge. I'm not joking. I suppose maybe the awkwardly fast pacing could work to its advantage, because when the ghosts are transporting Scrooge from place to place, there's not much of a transition. He's instantly there, like that. I suppose the ghosts have the power to do that, so I suppose they get away from awkwardly fast transitions. But that's the negatives done and over with. Now for the positives. As I mentioned earlier, this is a visual treat. In fact, this is one of those movies I could watch with the sound off, and it would still be effective as visual storytelling. The visual style is meant to duplicate, or rather replicate, the illustrations from the original book, with its immense details and sketchy pen outlines. And it's presented in a truly cinematic way. There are some moments when the camera, as it were, was moving around the characters, like that one scene with the Ghost of Christmas Present, or another scene with the Ghost of Christmas Future pointing his hand over the place, or in the opening scene when you go through a window like that. It's really impressive, and only people like Richard Williams could pull that sort of technique off. It's really well done. And Abe Levitan brought such life to Tiny Tim. That's just such a brilliant laugh. Especially when he fiddles with his hands. There are just certain characters who have certain aesthetic details that really make them seem real. It really does successfully capture the Victorian era style. But in terms of true visual spectacle, the ghosts managed to take the cake for the animation. Like Marley, who truly does seem like transparent and ghostly and really terrifying when he lets his jaw drop. It's funny how this ghost in a family-friendly movie is much more terrifying than the mummy in a 12-rated movie. And he doesn't move his mouth, he's speaking transparently, and poor Scrooge is absolutely terrified. The animation really does successfully capture how Scrooge is petrified. The ghost of Christmas Past is brilliantly ghostly, and some even say that it's accurate to the source material. And this must have taken a long time to animate her, because you can see that there's multiples of her, but she's the one person. It's like her face is kind of a mirage or something. You definitely get a sense that it's supernatural ghostly. And ultimately, it teaches goodwill to men and a Merry Christmas on Jesus' birthday. So despite it being rushed, I can definitely see why it earned an Oscar. So God bless us, everyone. Now, for the ranking of this adaptation, I'm going to rank it in two different ways. One as its own adaptation, and two on a visual spectacle, which earned the Oscar. As its own adaptation compared to other adaptations before, I give this adaptation an 8 out of 12. On a visual standpoint, I give this film an 11 out of 12. So combining the two scores together, you naturally get a 10 out of 12. Which scene stood out in this particular version of A Christmas Carol? Are there any Christmas Carol adaptations that you think were better and you think I would want to review? Please like, subscribe, share this with your friends, and let me know in the comments down below. And now, I think there's some other Christmas specials I ought to talk about. ScotsThinker signing out.